All right, hello everyone. It's your favorite general manager, Ed, and this is a very, very special episode. Episode 15. Gee, Ed, I want to go home. And I have to say, out of all the episodes we've done so far, I think this is the best and most brilliantest of all the things we've ever done. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and be entertained.
There's nothing worse than a slow shift, especially when that shift is supposed to be a busy night like a Friday. On this particular Friday, the whole crew is at the Pizza Bros store waiting for orders to roll in, but nothing comes. Ugh. How long has it been since we had a delivery? Complains Steve aloud.
Over 2 hours.
Gripes Dennis.
Why don't you get Ed to send some of us home?
Jenny asks Dennis.
Fine.
Replies Dennis. Dennis walks off to find Ed.
Why is it always me who has to ask?
Laments Dennis loudly. What Dennis didn't realize was that any time he asked Ed for anything, Ed would always give in. Maybe it was the way he asked, or maybe it was just the incessant whining that gave Ed a headache. But either way, Dennis almost always got what he wanted. Dennis finds Ed in his office, his feet up and his eyes closed.
Ed, wake up and send some of us home already,
demands Dennis. Ed wakes up with a jolt and a snort, but denies being asleep.
What? I wasn't asleep. I was just, resting my eyes.
Says Dennis with doubt.
I don't know. It's 6 p.m. We should be getting busy any minute. I don't feel comfortable being short-staffed when we do.
Says Ed.
If we were going to get busy, it would have already happened,
states Dennis. Ed thinks for a moment, looks at the clock, and ponders. Suddenly, Ed fills with excitement as he sees the opportunity to play out one of his long-time fantasies. If you were there, you would have sworn a light bulb turned on above his head.
Well?
Dennis asks expectantly.
I know. Follow me,
Ed says with joy. Dennis and Ed walk to the main area of Pizza Bros where everyone stands around and looks irritated. Ed, with his newfound confidence, looks around the room and pitches his grand idea.
You all want to go home, right?
Asks Ed. All the drivers nod their heads yes.
Then we're going to play a game, a sort of competition to see who gets to go home first,
declares Ed. What kind of game? Asks Steve with suspicion in his voice. The last time you tried to get us to play a game, it was who can clean the most pizza dust out of the tile floor cracks? I'm not playing that again. It's gross.
Psst, you're just pouty because you're not as good at cleaning as I am. I whooped you last time and I'll whoop you again.
Jenny razzes Steve.
All right, settle down, you two,
says Ed.
We're going to do a sing-along. We'll all make up lyrics to the old song Army Life. Whoever comes up with the funniest lyrics about working at Pizza Bros gets cut first.
Isn't this the plot of a MASH episode? Asks Steve.
Of course it is.
Riley interjects.
It's episode 117. It was on last night.
Ed corrals the crew to the back room of Pizza Bros. To everyone's amazement, it has somehow transformed into the stage of a 1970s game show. Lights flash, a crowd cheers, and the contestants, delivery drivers, all take their space at podiums to see who is the funniest and gets to go home first. From behind a thick curtain made of purple velour emerges Ed, who is living out his wildest fantasy of being a game show host. Ed sports a flamboyant 70s-style suit, a thin silver microphone, and to top it off, he has somehow grown thick sideburns and a lustrous comb-over haircut. The crowd cheers as Ed walks to the center of the stage.
Thank you. You're a wonderful audience. Truly beautiful people.
Ed croons.
Let's explain the rules of the game,
says Ed, spouting his schmaltzy presenter's voice.
We'll have each contestant write 4 unique lines of verse, which they then sing to the tune Army Life. After the verse, all the contestants then have to sing the chorus together. When all the contestants have had their chance to sing, our fabulous celebrity judges will vote to determine who gets to go home first, explains Ed.
Who are the judges?
Asks Jenny.
I'm glad you asked.
Ed continues with his showbiz voice.
Our first celebrity judge is Beth. Beth is the closing manager tonight, and ultimately, it's her call.
Beth stands behind a podium covered in blinking lights and waves at the crowd.
Happy to be here,
she says to the crowd in a gruff voice.
Our second celebrity judge is Freddie. Freddie is the closing driver tonight and can't go home.
Ed continues. I expect you guys to have a clean competition. No dirty tricks, capiche? Freddie adds.
And last, but not least, our third celebrity judge is none other than 10-time bull riding champion Blake McManus!
Ed exclaims. The crowd goes wild, and all the drivers murmur, Blake McManus, with excitement.
Howdy, y'all. It's really great to be here. I happen to be in town tonight, and this seems like a really great use of my time and talents.
Blake says in his calm, cordial cowboy voice.
I know, at-home audience. I was surprised we could get him, and on such short notice, too. Okay, we have 5 competitors tonight from the beautiful city of Chesterwood,
Explains Ed. He turns to the drivers competing to go home.
Now, you all understand the rules of the game, right?
Ed asks. The drivers all nod their head yes.
All right, then. When the music begins, we all take turns singing. I'll go first, just to warm up the room.
The music swells to the tune of Army Life, and Ed launches into his own written verse.
Delivery drivers working pizza, you'd think they're really fast until they're making pizzas, and then you'd be aghast.
Ed croons. Then they all sing,
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
Dennis takes the next verse.
Ed's a snappy dresser. His shirts are always clean. And if he gets his wish, he'll live his McBurger's dream.
They all sing together.
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
Riley is next.
Dennis making pizzas. He always thinks he's right. Don't you open cans near him. He gets real uptight.
They all sing.
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
Travis goes third.
Riley, as a shift lead, he's really a nice guy. But now that I think about it, it's only when he's high.
Again, they all sing.
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
Next is Steve. Steven is so sweet, he always eats dessert. Ed, you better let me off tonight or else I will dessert. Then they all sing.
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
Jenny is the last to sing.
Girl delivery drivers were almighty cute. And you'd think that too until you hear me toot.
And then they all finish with,
I don't want to live the pizza life. Gee, I want to go home.
the crowd roars with praise for the competitors.
Wow, that was fantastic seeing. Well, at least from some of you.
Jokes Ed.
Let's go to the judges. Freddie, what was your favorite verse?
They were all clever in their own way. But for me, my favorite was Travis's verse about Riley, says Freddie.
That makes one for Travis. We have two more judges. Beth, who was your favorite?
Ed asks.
To me, this is a no-brainer. Fart jokes are always funny. Jenny gets my vote.
States Beth.
One for Travis, one for Jenny. Will our last judge pick a winner, or will we go into a sudden death mega lightning round?
Ed says to the crowd.
Blake, what's your vote?
Ed asks. Blake thinks for a moment and responds.
Well, this is a hard decision for me. I like Travis and I like Jenny, but one really stood out for me. And that person was...
Blake McManus pauses for effect. The entire crew watches with bated breath. Even the studio audience is completely silent. Suddenly, the silence is broken as the sound of phones ring off the hook and the new order alarm beeps.
Oh, too bad. Looks like no one gets to go home early tonight because dinner rush is now in full swing. Let's get back to work, everyone,
says Ed. Ed pauses and looks directly into the camera.
That's it for this week's episode of Gee Ed, I Want to Go Home. This is Ed wishing you a pizza-filled night and reminding you to have your pepperonis cased and sliced. Good night, everyone.
The end.
This is Beth. Thanks for listening to the Pizza Bros podcast. Don't forget to go to therealpizzabros.com. And just for reference, I made everyone stay late and help clean tonight. The end. Goodbye.